Well, right now it's tough economy talk from Trump that seems to be trumping social issues. Trump, Bush, and Walker all out in front right now. But what about that big evangelical candidate and vote? We're talking Rick Santorum and, of course, Mike Huckabee. To billionaire investor and Rick Santorum backer Foster Friess on if they should be focusing more on the issues that seem to be dominating the headlines. You're very successful, but you're also a principled man. Is there some sort of anxiety going on right now because these old social issues seem to have gone way on the back burner these days?
Well, Charles, I think that's a artificial construct by the media. Why do they call some candidates social conservatives and other fiscal? I believe every one of these 16 men are extremely well balanced. If you look at Huckabee, for example, he's not just social issues. As a governor, he dealt with roads, he dealt with infrastructure, with health care, with education. And certainly Santorum, even more dramatically, he's on the ISIS online magazine as Here is the Enemy. How many other of the 15 candidates have done that kind of accolade? And also he was on the Armed Services Committee for a number of years, 8 years. He actually authored the Iranian sanction bill, which got no place when he first introduced it, and similarly the Syrian Accountability Act. So why isn't he known as the national security candidate, along with Lindsey Graham and those who are more hawkish? Why does he get pigeonholed
I'm not sure about that, but
one particular candidate?
Foster, I do know that these candidates have spent a lot of their own personal time trying to establish these bona fides, if you will. Rick Santorum was the family's guy. He's the traditional marriage guy. Scott Walker reacted harshly to the Supreme Court same-sex verdict. So did Huckabee, Governor Huckabee. So, and these guys certainly put themselves out there. And the question is, are these the messages that can win you the nomination and ultimately get you in the White House?
Well, I was on Maria Bartiromo's show with Rudy Giuliani, and I chided him, why don't you throw your hat in the ring? He says, where in the world would I go in a Republican primary as being pro-choice and pro-gay marriage? He says, that doesn't fly. So in order to win the hearts of America, I think you have to go back to our basic values that made America great. Those Judeo-Christian values. Harry Truman said, in our great country has proven the fundamental unity between democracy and Christianity. And so I think the Christian values, Judeo-Christian values, are important to, I think, almost all of our 16 candidates. In fact, many of them made a specific point when they introduced their candidacy, talking about how important that issue was to them.
What about the candidate that's leading, Foster? What about the candidate that's leading? I thought, from what I understood, that Donald Trump was pro-choice, and he hasn't talked about any of these social issues. He has been 1,000% on protecting America, building walls, and dealing with our trade partners in a way that will lift our economy, not theirs.
Well, I think if you look at all the other positions, certainly Rick Santorum has talked about how do we look out for the 74% of our fellow Americans who haven't graduated from college. And I'm certainly Huckabee. If you look at their whole positions, they're very broad-ranging and not just focused. I think the media tries to pigeonhole them, just like they try to pigeonhole Rand Paul as an isolationist. He's no way an isolationist and gets very irritated when he's so-called. And so each one of these people have an enormous amount to contribute to the debate into our country. And I would just position this, Charles.
Let me just do real quick, because I'm getting a rap signal, and I just got to go out on this, because I agree with you. All of them are highly qualified. Who are you backing right now?
Well, I'm a Santorum guy because he's got all three legs of the stool. He's got national security, he's got the economy, and he does have the family issues. Okay. But what's going to happen, Charles, is the fiscal conservatives are going to wake up and say, hey, maybe we should be cultural conservatives. When you see Hannity has a fellow on his show that brags about having 30 babies by 24 different mothers. Sometimes we
know that those issues bother a lot of people on both sides of the aisle. Foster, we got to go, buddy. I'm sorry. We appreciate it because you educated the audience to a great degree, and we appreciate that.